Hi folks, it's Evo here from Thundermist Lure Company, and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. We're out here just in front of Buffalo out on Lake Erie. I've got the whole gang out with me today, folks, and on today's show we're going to be slow trolling for walleye. I'm going to show you a great setup for walleye that you could use any time of year. So stay tuned, folks, we're sure to have a great show. So folks, I'm going to show you the perfect setup for slow trolling for walleye, or for any bottom fish for that matter. And you don't need a downrigger, you don't need planer boards, nothing fancy. All you need is a setup like this. And what I have, I'm running the Thundermist T-turn 3-way swivel right there, folks. And then down below I've got about 2 feet of line down to a sinker. And then off the other end of the T-turn swivel I have about 2.5 feet of line running to a Viper spoon. And today, folks, I'm going to open up with this silver Viper spoon, only because it's very sunny today. We've got clear water that we're fishing, and this Viper spoon will just flash and flutter up a storm down there. Now, as I said, I got the gang out with me today. Some of us are going to be using artificial baits, some are going to be using live bait, and me, I'm going for the artificial. I've got just a little artificial leech here, and I'm going to rig him on this Viper spoon so that he has a nice vertical presentation. So I'll just slide him along just like so, and I'll hook him into the tail end just like that. And in case you're wondering, I'm running the size SP2 Viper spoon. This is the bucktail model. There's a beaded model as well, but the bucktail model just adds a little more flash, and I like that for these walleye out here. And this is the size SP2 because the walleye we're fishing for today are a little bit smaller. And if I were going for those typical Lake Erie walleye, I'd go for the size SP3. So now all I'm going to do is a slow troll. We're going to get this down to the bottom. That sinker is going to drag along the bottom. This Viper spoon is going to flash and flutter behind it, and we're sure to get into some nice fish. Let's get started. So folks, as you know, I've got a large motor here, and it's not really made for trolling. So a little trick of the trade, I just threw a drift sock out back there, and that drift sock will slow us down nicely. I'll be able to troll nice and slow at around 1.5 miles an hour. And again, all I'm going to do now is drop that down. I don't have to worry about any tangles. That T-turn 3-way swivel will keep that thing centered nicely, and it'll allow that flash and flutter of that Viper spoon to do its magic. So down to the bottom we go. There we go. I'm set up. We're going to get the rest of the gang set up here and slow troll away. There we go. We're on, Antonio. That was a nice hit. We're just drifting along nice and slowly here. We're trolling along at about 1.5 miles an hour. Just bouncing that Viper spoon off the bottom. And that was a real nice hit. Okay, someone hand me that net. Nicole, you want to land them? Why don't you land them, Nicole? Oh, it's a nice walleye, Nicole. Nice walleye. Okay, come on over here. Right there. Put them right up. Nice. There we go. Good net job, Nicole. Look at that. Beautiful. Let me just get them out here. That's a nice size walleye, folks, right there. Absolutely perfect. And he took the silver Viper spoon, and as you saw a little earlier, I had it rigged just with a leech, an artificial leech. But what a beautiful setup this is. Okay, let's get this guy in the live well, and let's get that Viper spoon rebaited back out in the water. Fantastic. I love it. Okay, you're on. Even Genzo?
Yeah.
Good fish?
Pretty decent.
Yeah, let me get the net. Now, what did you put on? You got a, what color Viper spoon?
I got the Bleeding Pearl Chartreuse SP1.
Size SP1 Viper spoon. What'd you rig it with?
Artificial leech.
Artificial leech. That's the beauty of these Viper spoons, folks. You can rig them with artificial baits, natural baits, whatever you like. And this system with the bottom bouncer, absolutely fantastic for any type of those fish holding bottom. It's a bass. Beautiful. Bring them in. That's the other beauty, folks. You never know what you're going to get. Walleye, bass, doesn't matter. With this system, bottom bouncing like that, as long as you're on the bottom, There you go. There's a nice viper spoon bass right there. How do you like that? Beautiful. That's a nice fish, Vincenzo.
Yeah, it is.
He's got to be a solid 4 pounds. Solid 4. Maybe a little more. Nice fish. Okay. Back in he goes. Nice easy release there off the side of the boat. Good to go. There he goes. Fantastic. So that was just beautiful. Now we got out here a bit late, folks. It's evening is upon us, so hopefully we can get a few more fish before the sun goes down. But that was quite nice, eh, Vincenzo?
It's perfect.
Fish, Antonio, eh?
Yeah.
The evening bite. Any size to him?
Not sure yet. There's a really soft bite.
Okay. Now you got the viper spoon on as well.
Yep.
What'd you put on it? A worm or an artificial leech?
I actually switched to a little power minnow.
A power minnow?
Yeah.
It's not like you. You usually put the real worm on, Antonio.
Well, we were marking all those bait fish, so I decided to switch it up.
Now I use an artificial minnow, but the beauty of these viper spoons is that you got the flash and flutter action of the spoon, which is followed by a different action with your trailing bait. And if your trailing bait has some scent to it, when the walleye come up to it, they just can't resist. Yours was a scented minnow? A power bait.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's see if we can get a look at them. Nice. Right in here, Antonio. Beautiful. Look at that, eh? Gold viper spoon. Evening bite. Nice little artificial minnow. You gotta love that.
It's a nice fish.
Yeah. That's the size what? SP1?
One.
SP1 for those little fish, and accommodates a minnow very, very nicely. Now I just want to see your setup here as well. You're only down about a foot off the bottom, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Nonetheless, that's a beautiful setup. And you notice, folks, this T-turn swivel, eh, Antonio? You reeled it in, eh?
No tangles.
No tangles. You reel it in, tangle-free. You gotta love that. Okay, in the box he goes.
Yeah.
Antonio, just as we put your walleye down, I had a hit. Wow, that was great.
Spoons are hot.
The spoons are hot. The viper spoon's hot, and it's also a hot night, by the way. Literally, it's 34 degrees when we started out here. I tell you, these viper spoons, though, they're just like a walleye magnet. They really are.
Let me know when you need the net.
I'm gonna need it soon. There he is. Oh, it's a nice walleye.
Oh yeah, nice.
Beautiful walleye. In the box. Hey, look at that. Oh, let me see if I can get him out of this net here. I hate to tell you, Antonio, that's a little bigger than yours.
It's a nice fish.
It's a nice fish. Get that last hook out. Look at that. That was still on the silver. I'm still running that silver viper spoon.
Well, why change it if it works?
Well, you got yours on the gold though, eh?
Yeah.
Silver and gold, bread and butter colors. And Genzo got his bass on the bleeding pearl chartreuse. That's got a gold back to it. Beautiful Lake Erie walleye, and that's what we're targeting, these smaller fish today, folks. Like I said, if we were after those bigger 5-10 pounders, we'd run the SP3 viper spoon, but the ones and twos are doing the trick today. Well, folks, we got about a few minutes, as I mentioned, before that sun goes down, so I think we're gonna start to wrap things up here today. So a few key things today, folks. Bottom bouncing with heavier sinkers, the Thundermist 3-way T-turn swivel, along with the viper spoons, just tipped with artificial scented baits. That was the ticket. And the other key to today, folks, was the drift sock. That drift sock allowed me, with this big motor, to troll right down at 1.5 miles an hour. We stayed in 40 feet of water. A couple hours worth of fishing here in the evening. We had a great day. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, as always, good luck and good fishing. One last thing, folks. Don't forget to subscribe to our videos by clicking on the button most likely found right over here, as we have a lot more fish catching action coming your way. And if you haven't yet, be sure to check out our website at thundermistfishingtips.com, as we have a lot more articles there and fish catching advice for you. So until next time, good luck and good fishing.